Hello there, this is Vlad Turchenko.
And I'm Ashley Van Gundy.
And in today's brief presentation, we're going to go over the top 5 Medicare questions. If you're turning 65 and you're now becoming eligible to get Medicare, you probably have a lot of questions. Ashley has been in the Medicare space for a long time, and she'll address the top 5 questions that folks who are turning 65 and planning on getting Medicare, these are the questions that they most commonly ask. Let's go ahead and take them one by one. Ashley, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. So the first question is, what is Medicare in a nutshell? What is it? What is it not?
So it's a federal health insurance program. You do need to be eligible for it, which means you're a U.S. citizen or a legal resident. You need to have worked 10 years or 40 quarters or have certain qualifying conditions. Medicare is a federal program. It is not free, right? We pay taxes into it. It's not a family health plan. It's not Social Security, and it's not Medicaid.
Okay. So it's not Medicaid. Medicare and Medicaid, two different things. Medicare, federal program, Medicaid, state program. Is that right? Can you have both?
Yes, you can have both. So, right, Medicare is going to be a federal program you pay taxes into and is available for anyone who meets that criteria. And then you have Medicaid, which is going to be the state program, which is for low income. And so it's based off the amount you have. And if you have both Medicare and Medicaid, then you're what's called dual eligible, which is a program where you're able to help individuals even get additional benefits on top of their Medicare and Medicaid through private health insurance companies' Medicare Advantage plans for them. So
yeah, Ashley, you've been doing this for many years. You've helped thousands of clients. And I've heard you say this many times that when people reach out to you and they say, I have Medicaid, I don't think I need Medicare, those are your favorite people to work with because they're often surprised by how well those two work together. And one thing I just want to address right now is that if you're watching this presentation and you're having questions and you want to talk to Ashley or someone on the team, then call the number right below this video or just fill out a short form right below this video with your name and phone number, and we can reach out to you and answer any questions that you may have about Medicare. Okay, so Ashley, who can get Medicare?
So Medicare is available for U.S. citizens or legal residents. You do need to be age 65 years or older. If you're younger than 65, you do need to have a qualifying disability. And certain diagnoses for diseases, chronic conditions also can cause you to qualify for Medicare as well.
Okay. Now, if I'm turning 65 and I plan to still be employed at my job, should I get Medicare?
So it really just depends. So each scenario is different. It depends on what your employee benefits are. Now, if your company has 20 employees or less, then you would need to get onto Medicare, but you also want to check with the HR department, whoever runs the insurance at your employer, and just run it by them, make sure it's credible coverage. And as long as it is, then you can continue to stay on it. But we like to compare individuals' employer plans to their options with Medicare, and then they can kind of see which one is going to give them the most benefits for the money that they're spending, because we want to make sure that anything that we do, that we're helping the individual get more benefits, better coverage, save money, one of the above. We want to make sure that what we're doing is actually making an impact.
Okay. And when in doubt, reach out to a Medicare professional in your state. So what I'm hearing you say, Ashley, if you're turning 65 and you plan on still being employed for the next few months or few years, reach out to a Medicare professional and they can help you make the best decision. Is that right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And our services are free. So there's no cost to meet with a Medicare agent and explore your options, see what's going to be the best fit for you. And then really you can take that knowledge and information and make an educated decision, which is the most important thing when you're setting up your Medicare.
Okay. Now let's get into the nitty gritty. What exactly does Medicare cover and what does Medicare not cover? There's something called Original Medicare, and it has two parts. It has Parts A, this is hospital insurance, and then it has Parts B, which is medical insurance. What should people know about original Medicare?
So with original Medicare, you're going to have your Part A, and again, as long as you work 10 years and 40 quarters, there's no cost for Part A. It's going to cover hospitalization. So there's a lot of different things that kind of encompass hospitalization, right? Skilled nursing. There's a lot of things that you can get covered there. And then the Part B is going to have a premium associated with it. For 2024, it's 174.70. Now, that's going to be for most individuals. If you do have an adjusted rate, like at IRMA, based off of your income, then that could go up depending on what your income is. And that's something that we can help you navigate, as well as seeing what that's going to be. But Part B helps cover doctor visits and outpatient care. So things like going to see your primary care doctor, physical therapy, durable medical equipment. So there's lots of things also that's covered under the Part B of Medicare. Now, between the two, you'll have 80% coverage, and both Part A and B do have deductibles, but you have 80% coverage. So you need someone to help you figure out how to cover the other 20%, and that's what we do.
Okay. What is Part A and B not covered? You mentioned that 80% of the services are covered with A and B. What is it not covered?
So it's not going to cover sometimes those deductibles. So depending, like I said, Part A and Part B both have a deductible. So if you go with a Medigap plan or a Medicare supplement plan, which we'll talk more about, there's sometimes you have to pay that Part B deductible. It's not going to cover that. If you do have coinsurance, right, that 20%, that's going to be on you as well. Medicare will cover the 80. And then prescription drugs. So that's not built into the equation, as well as additional benefits that people are, maybe accustomed to in their employer plans, like dental, vision, hearing. Those kinds of things are going to need either an additional plan on top of your Medicare, or you would need to go with a Medicare Advantage plan. Medicare does not cover that on its own.
Okay, so let's talk about that. I'm following along here, and I'm seeing that original Medicare, parts A and B, does not cover everything. I don't have my prescription drugs covered. I don't have my routine dental, vision, and hearing covered. And that is what you help with. That's the part that the consumer, right, someone turning 65, have to decide on how they get the additional coverage. So to help us better understand where you can get this additional coverage, we have this chart on the screen. And on the left-hand side, you see original Medicare. This is what you just covered. Or Part A helps cover hospital stay, and Part B helps pay for doctor visits and outpatient care. So that's covered by the federal government. Besides that, you really have two options, option one and option two. Tell us what these options are, starting with option one.
Yes, so the first option is to get a Medicare supplement plan. It's also known as a Medigap plan, along with a standalone prescription drug plan. You would pay a monthly premium for these policies to cover up to the 20% that original Medicare does not cover. There are some things that people like about these plans. People like that you can go anywhere that takes original Medicare, which is about 90+% of all doctors and hospitals, which means that you have a lot of flexibility with doctors and hospitals you can use. So that's definitely a plus. The downside is that you do have to pay a monthly plan premium for these type of plans, whether you use it or not, and they can become more expensive as you get older. One more thing that you should know about these plans is they do not include coverage for dental, vision, or hearing. So those are a lot of additional benefits that individuals like to, that they use as dental, vision, and hearing. So that's another thing that you would have to add on as well, which would be an additional cost.
Okay, so to recap with option one, there are a few things that you're getting. You're getting your prescription drug plan, and you also get a Medicare supplement plan, and then you also need dental, vision, hearing. That's option one. What is option two?
So the second option is called the Medicare Advantage plan, also known as the Part C of Medicare. And that is where private health insurance companies provide your health insurance benefits instead of the government. So you still both maintain your A and B through Medicare, but they're taking over the management of those funds. So Medicare is going to send those funds to that private health insurance company to put together a plan. There are things that people like about these plans. They like that they're no or low cost. So these plans typically have no premium associated with it. And so you only pay when you use it. So instead of having a monthly premium each month that you're paying, you're only paying the co-payments or co-insurance when you're using it. And they do include dental, vision, hearing, over-the-counter, fitness memberships, a lot of different perks depending on the plan or the carrier that's providing the plan. Downsides. So there are some downsides as well to this type of plan. So if the individual maybe wants to go to a particular hospital or doctor, you want to make sure that they're in the network because these are either HMOs or PPOs. So just like a plan you had with your employer, they're going to be network based. So we want to make sure that the places that you like to go are in the network, and we help out with all that. So there's really two great options, and everybody's different. So some people fit better in option one or option two.
And that is key. What you said right there, Ashley, is really important that for every person, they have different needs. So, not everybody should get option one, not everybody should get option two. You have to talk to a Medicare professional who can educate you on the different options and how they can benefit you specifically. So, my next question then, Ashley, is when can I enroll? I'm turning 65 in a few months. Is it too early to enroll? Or maybe I just turned 65 a few months ago. Is it too late to enroll? Help me better understand what the initial enrollment period is. If I'm this chart right here is showing 65 right here. If I'm turning 65 today, what's that window of time of when I can enroll in Medicare?
Yeah, so this is a question we get all the time, and usually it's a little bit like, "Oh, I'm turning 65 in 2 weeks," and you're like, "Oh gosh." So really, you have a 7 month window. So you have 3 months before your 65th birthday, the month of your 65th birthday, and 3 months after in order to get all set up on Medicare, choose out your Medigap plan, your drug plan, your supplement or your Medicare Advantage plan. So this is kind of your window to get everything taken care of. I recommend that people start as soon as they can. So that 3 months before their 65th birthday, because we got to do things like enroll into the Part B of Medicare. And sometimes that takes a minute to get that processed on the Medicare side. And we need to get that information in order to be able to actually sign you up on to option one or option two for plans.
So if you're turning 65, happy birthday. If you're turning 65 in the next few months,
Yes.
it's not too early to get your Medicare plan in place. Okay, now once you have a Medicare plan and in the future you want to change, that's one of the unique things about Medicare is that it's not like buying car and home insurance where you can call your agent and change your plan every month if you want to. Medicare has some rules in there and they're for the benefit of people who have Medicare. So there is a window of time called the annual enrollment period. You're going to hear that a lot. AEP, annual enrollment period. That's when, if you choose to change your plan, that's usually the window of time that you change your plan. Tell us about this annual enrollment plan.
Yeah, this is our busiest time of year, and we're able to help out anybody that's on Medicare be able to make a plan change for the following year. So these plans change every year, right? So you want to make sure, and that's another benefit of having a local agent because you have that constant communication of knowing what's going on, kind of just like a financial advisor, but what's going on in the market with Medicare. These plans change. So October 15th to December 7th is that enrollment window. And that's when, if you want to make a change for the following year, you would need to come in and we could help you make that change.
Okay, now that we know that, one other really important thing, Ashley, that we have to cover is that if you're turning 65 or you turn 65 and you don't do anything, you don't sign up for Medicare, in time, you can have some severe financial consequences. There are some penalties that you could incur that you would want to know about. So, what are those penalties if you enroll late for Medicare?
So when it comes to late enrollment penalties, there can be penalties, whether it's your Part A or B, there could be a 10% late enrollment penalty. Or with Medicare Part D, there's a 1%. So there's a lot of things that kind of go into the late enrollments. And so you want to make sure that you're not going to have any penalties because they are permanent. So you want to make sure that you meet with someone and get it taken care of.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Where can I go to get help and sign up for a Medicare plan that is perfect for me?
So there's two options on how you can enroll. You can go to medicare.gov, call 1-800-Medicare, or you can call a local professional.
Okay, when people reach out to you, they don't pay you anything. Your services are free. You help people look at their personal situation and find a plan that is best for them. Is that right?
Yes, yeah, that's exactly right. We represent, a variety of different carriers, both Medicare supplements, drug plans, and Medicare Advantage plans. So we just help them navigate it and help them get into the plan that's best for them.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you folks for watching this brief presentation on the top 5 questions that people have about Medicare. If you'd like to reach out to Ashley or someone on her team, then call the number right below this video. And then also, if it's after hours, you can fill out the form below this video. Just put in your name, your phone number, and we'll reach out to you and help you with your Medicare needs. Talk soon.